ready to go. And there's no tornado here in Tennessee tonight. So let's see if y'all can see me and hear me, and we'll get started. All right, there comes my screen, and I can see me. Jacob, Finley, let's see, Russell. Who else can see me here? Undercover, VG426, S. Withers, Christian Prepper. Okay, good. We got a bunch of you guys. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of God knows what's going on in the world. All right. So, for those of you guys that were looking to tune into the Trump rally tonight, that's not happening. You saw it was canceled due to tornado watches, potentially tornado warnings in Iowa, so he'll reschedule it. And of course, the liberals are going, oh, he didn't have anybody there, that's why he canceled. It tells you how stupid a liberal is, but beside the point. Don't really have to tell you a whole lot of what's going on down on the southern border, because obviously the floodgates are open, and the liberals are coming out and saying, oh, gee, there's no problem. There's no inflow or anything like that. This is all normal. Right, 70,000 people coming through a day. Got it. Okay. But the classic one today, all right, our illustrious commander-in-chief giving a speech, commencement address at Howard University today, right? Stands up in front of the entire class. Now, mind you, Howard University is a historically black college, right? Biden gets up there and goes into a tirade that white supremacy is the most dangerous terrorist threat to the United States. Okay. Somebody please remind me when the last white supremacy terrorist activity in the United States was. It wasn't white supremacists who tore up, I don't know, Portland, Dallas, blew up the World Trade Center, anything like that. The last white supremacist terrorist threat was probably, 80 years ago, 90 years ago. Okay, yeah, okay. No, Joe, the most dangerous terrorist threat we have in the United States harkens right back to the Cold War era, and it would be communism. And guess what, Joe? You are the head communist. So, yes, okay. Sorry, but anybody that believes anything that comes out of your lying mouth is an idiot. But that would be the definition of Democrat anyway, so we'll just move on. Yes, so that was it. Just David Potter, Biden doesn't need a brain transplant. You have to have one to take out to put a new one in, okay? Biden just needs a brain, his campaign theme song this year should be "If I Only Had a Brain," but who knows? All right. All right, I'm going to address the elephant in the room here real quick as to what happened about 20 minutes ago in the chat room. Guys, I'm going to tell you this. I mention it every week. I have no patience for people being an asshole on this channel. I'm going to say this as bluntly as possible. This is my channel. These are my rules. If you don't like it, GTFO. If you don't want to, I will get you out very simply. And our little escapade that happened here somewhere around 20 to 9, that person will never be seen on this channel again. I don't care. I don't care who the person is. Understand this. Nobody at all on this channel has the right to belittle anybody else on this channel. You want to tell my mods to F off? I will tell you to F off. You will never be back. And if you are listening, I don't care. Don't bother emailing me. Don't bother telling me you had a bad day. Engage brain before putting fingers in gear. Done. You're gone. End of story. There is no appeals process. I am the judge, the jury, and the executioner, and I'm a hanging judge. Right? As I said in the comments before, I won't start a fight. I'll damn sure finish it. Okay? I don't care what you've done in the past. I don't care that you run trivia or do whatever. You're gone forever. No questions asked. Goodbye. If you want to be an ass, you don't get a second chance. Period. And I need everybody to understand that. We treat each other with respect here. The end. My rules, my house. That's it. Okay. Hope everybody understands that. I'm not kidding when I say that every live stream. Okay. All right. No, somebody's not getting a spanking. Somebody's getting their head cut off. Okay. That was it. I don't believe in minor punishment. I believe in execution. Okay. Capital punishment, period. All right, let's get into Q&A. I will give everybody the rules as per normal, okay? If you have a question for me, please put it in all caps. That way I can go through the chat a lot quicker and see what is directed to me and what you guys are talking amongst yourselves about. I wholeheartedly encourage you guys to talk amongst yourselves, okay? Because I don't have all the answers. I'm not going to be able to get to all the questions. And a lot of times you guys have something that you think is important. And if I don't see it, or I miss it, or the screen flips up and I don't see it, I still want you to be able to get your answers. So please, if it's directed at me, all caps, but please feel free to have a conversation amongst yourselves in there. I encourage everybody to watch the answers too, because I'm usually 15, 20 minutes behind. And if you ask a question, somebody else may be able to answer it a lot quicker than I get to it, if I can get to it at all. Okay. I'm not going to go back into the same tirade that I just told you about, but guys, polite, respectful, that's it. Okay, done. All right, let's get into some Q&A here. We're going to get started relatively quickly today, so hopefully we'll get some more questions in. So let's see. Prep Rebel, me and Mrs. P, good to see you, 5x5. Thanks for the excellent laughs on the last live. CP is total clickbait. Yeah, I'll agree. Okay. I'm not going to mention the channel because all that does is drive more clicks to them. But yeah, I know who you're talking about. And you're totally right. Okay, let's go on down here. Okay, we got way to the top. Dan says, just want to say thanks. You give us a lot of good info. Appreciate it. I try, guys. And as I've said, I know a few of you guys got on me the other day. You've only put up one video. You haven't put up a video since 6:30 yesterday morning. If there's nothing important to talk about, guys, I'm not going to waste your time. Okay. And you all know that I've said many times, this time of year, I'm extremely busy. I mean, Mrs. P and I got some 600 plants planted in the last few days. And I've still got cucumbers, squash, lima beans, and cantaloupe that have to be planted yet. We are, ask about my eye. I don't think it's poison ivy. I think I got bit by something because by now my eye be swollen shut. But that's what happens. You're out in the garden and you got bugs and everything like that, and something bit me and it was close to the eye, and that's that. You got to get out and do this stuff, guys. Sitting around and watching prepping videos all day does not make you a prepper. Getting out and doing this stuff is what it is, okay? I'm just going to put it out there. Please, okay? Knowledge is power. I absolutely agree. But experience is better than knowledge any day of the week. I was talking with Mr. and Mrs. Mountaintops this afternoon, and we were talking about gardens and soil and things like that. And, and we both agreed. It's like, better learn what works now and what doesn't. And I don't care if you're talking about your garden, your weapons, whatever, your security, or how your pressure canner works, or better learn how to use everything now, because the last time you want to be prepping is when you need to be eating. Okay. Gee, you know what? The world just went to hell. Maybe I should plant tomatoes. Do you know how? Well, no, but I figure at that point, too late. Okay. You need to learn all that stuff now. All right. Okay. Tanya, and pinball's better than Trump. He teaches us how to prep. Yeah, except I don't kind of have the ability to control the economy and keep us out of wars. So, yeah, but thank you for the compliment. Let's see. Limited access. South Dakota, hello, checking in. There you go. Randy Brown, we had 5 tornado warnings last night in Kansas. However, we're blessed with nobody died. Yeah, no kidding. I mean, I saw, what was it? If I remember, what was it? Arkansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, Kansas. You guys, there was nasty weather all over the place. It got into Western Tennessee. We were supposed to get all that rain today and all those storms. Not a freaking drop. Okay. It's a good thing I don't trust the Weather Channel as far as I can spit, because I was out watering because everybody said, it's supposed to rain. I'll believe it rains when I see it. It didn't rain. I was covered. All right. Mimos says evening to everybody. Good. Okay. Wilderness Woman, one position in this country that could really bring our people together, and he just drives another wedge. Why does he not get impeached? Because the GOP has no freaking backbone. That's exactly why. And I mean, I wrote my congressman the other day. I mean, they've got to know me by name by now in DC, how many times I've written my senators and my congressmen. I'm like, I'm sick and tired of press conferences and investigations. You've got so much freaking information on this guy. Start the damn impeachment process and just keep adding charges as you go. All right. I mean, remember, they impeached Trump for things that never happened with no evidence. You have all the evidence. Start the proceedings and get this moron out of Washington before he does start World War III. Okay. It's like I talked about this morning with Cloward Piven. His whole plan is to crush the U.S. economy. And if he's around for another 2 years, he's going to do it. Okay. Prepping for heaven. No, you didn't miss the excitement. You just missed somebody being an asshole and, the wrath of God coming down on him. And thank God my moderators are on top of everything like crazy. You all know they do one hell of a job. And they got with me and said, here's the screenshots. Here's what's going on. Problem solved. Okay. Let's see. HJS video. Have I heard anything about the Title 42 stoppage being delayed by 2 weeks? It's not Title 42. There was another Trump era deal that that came into play, and I don't know all the details on it, that got put in on postponed and everything like that. So, I mean, right now they're releasing these people, giving them cell phones, okay, and court dates that are up to 10 years out. So they get 10 years in the United States free of charge, okay, before they'll ever be adjudicated in their asylum hearing will ever be heard, and then they're thrown out. And at that point, they're like, but I had a baby, so now it's an anchor baby, and I'm the parent, so I need to be here. That's exactly what will happen, okay? There's something going on with this 2-week delay. Yes, I do not know the details on it. GC says hello from the woods of Maine. There we go. We've got. I mean, I love looking at this. I mean, I know we have people from all 50 states here. We've got probably every province in Canada, probably damn near every country in Europe, Australia, New Zealand. There's a few people that have watched from Africa. We hit Asia and a few from South America. So, I mean, when we finally find somebody who lives in Antarctica and watches the channel, I think we'll consider ourselves a global channel, global family. Okay. Cushnet Pepper, I believe it was before the live stream. It was before it started. That doesn't matter. The chat's up. It's still my house. Okay, period. The rules don't just come into play when it's on the live stream. Those rules are in play in the comments, under videos, in the chat, whatever would be. So I see nasty comments under a video. I either remove them or block the user if it's that offensive. So I have no patience for it, zero. Okay, and like I said, there is no second chance. CHS Tennessee, how are the pond fish? Well, they're still about an inch long. We've been feeding them every day. So, they get their tiny little Purina 400 starter pellets and, they're little bubbles and everything. But it'll be fall before I really even get a chance to see if they've grown. It's not like I'm going to go out and try to catch anything right now. I mean, I couldn't use an ice hook to catch these things. They're the size of goldfish. So, that's about it. Whoops, there we go. Shot to the bottom. Go back up. Okay. Let's see. I gotta find where it was. Susan Lathrop says, Happy Mother's Day to Mrs. P. Well, happy early Mother's Day to everybody for tomorrow morning. You know, spend a little time with the family. Hopefully, Mom gets breakfast in bed or a dinner. I asked Mrs. P what she wants me to make her for dinner tomorrow. She wants my famous enchiladas, so that'll be dinner. I was like, okay. I figured she'd have a barbecue or something. Nope, she wants enchiladas, so I will make enchiladas tomorrow. So, let's see. Prep Rebel, there you go. Totally understand, my friend. Your channel, your role, same with mine. Exactly. I mean, I get it. There's some channels that just want to be an all-out bitch fest and let everybody do it and don't care what people say and how people treat each other. This ain't one of them. Everybody else, they can do whatever they want. You can do whatever you want on your own channel. It's my channel. I'll do what I want. That's it. And I like to think that most people would appreciate the fact that it's not going to be a bunch of rude comments and everything all day. Okay. Hillbilly, you having cold beer tonight? And have you shot your bow yet? Cold beer, Miller Lite tonight. So that was it. So simple one. It wasn't, it's like, okay, there we go. Have I shot my bow yet? No, but it should be soon. Okay. Remember the West. Pinball, my wife likes roses. I have to use cuttings to make it happen. I usually grow stuff you can't eat. And he said, wait a minute. My wife likes roses. I have to use cuttings to make it happen. Okay. I usually grow stuff you can eat. Any suggestions? Fruits and vegetables? I'm not understanding the question. I mean, I can't think of it. If you're trying to say roses that you can eat, no, I don't have it. I'm not quite understanding what you're asking, but are roses edible? Not as far as I know. Okay, certainly don't want the thorns in my mouth. Barstool Profit, the YouTube keeping you under 100,000, not wanting to come off that play button. No, trust me. I mean, all the content creators know it. They are throttling us on the views. It's just amazing how, usually I'll have somewhere between 25,000 and 30,000 views on a video. Okay. Have been for about a year. All of a sudden now, 16,000 to 18,000. The views are going down, but the subscriber count's going up. And it's not just me. I mean, go look at Rudy or Magic or Jason or Steve Poplar or Travis, or look at all of them, and the views have all come down. We know exactly what's going on. It's like, oh, there were 3 people that watched the video. Let's count 2. That's what they're doing. Okay. We all know it. We just can't prove it. And they know that. So. Salty Blank Zero, you emailed me this question, and I sent you a quick answer. You mentioned in using Epsom salts for the garden. Do I use it straight out of the bag or 50-50? You want to use Epsom salts when you're low in magnesium. This is, again, when your soil tests are important, okay, because you can put too much in the soil. If you're going to use Epsom salts, I would suggest, my opinion, okay, to dissolve it and dilute it. First off, it's going to make it easier for the plants to take up, okay, if it's dissolved. Second off, you have a lot more control if you dilute the fertilizer or the Epsom salts or whatever you're using, because, I want to put 1 teaspoon of Epsom salts in or something like that. Okay, Did you get a rounded teaspoon, a flat teaspoon? Was it a little bit above, and all of a sudden you put in too much, and crap, my plant's dead. Okay, you can use too much. You're always better using a diluted solution of any fertilizer, and putting, instead of fertilize once every 3 months. Yeah, I'd rather use a diluted solution and fertilize once every 3 weeks with a diluted solution for 3 months. That just more even, rather than this boom right there to it and then dilute it down. If you give it a more even flow, I have better results that way. Let's just put it that way. Donna Charge, have rust on a few potato leaves in West Tennessee, no spots. Could it be magnesium deficiency? Again, the only way you're going to know that is by doing a soil test. I mean, it could be, you could have rust, you could have some sort of blight, you could have some sort of disease, you could have too much water on the leaves that didn't dry out. I mean, it could be a whole lot of different things, but if you're concerned about it being magnesium deficiency, go get a soil test kit and test your soil for the magnesium level. Remember the West, thank you for the Super Jet 556. I like that. Do you explore growing sugar beets, considering that there is a sugar shortage? I grow regular beets, no issues there. But in regards to the sugars, we have fig trees, so there's a good source there. A lot of fruit trees, a lot of berry. I mean, geez, just the berries. I've got strawberries, blackberries, gooseberries, goji berries, blueberries. I think that's all of them. Okay. So I'm not worried about baking. I can't tell you the last time Mrs. P and I baked a cake or baked a pie or something like that. So I'm not worried about sugar. We buy sugar around here, and basically it's to make hummingbird food. So we get enough sugar from the fruits that we eat. But I've never really considered growing sugar beets. No. Prep Rebel, thank you for the super sticker. Appreciate that as well. Let's see. Susan Lathrop, just want to double check. I can use rabbit poop with all the potatoes and veggies, right? Yes, you can. Yeah, I guess you can. Again, you're going to want to think of ones that are going to be the most benefit for it. Rabbit poop is very high in nitrogen. Okay, so it's going to be great on corn. It's going to be great on your tomatoes or your peppers. It's not as important for your carrots or your potatoes or your beets or something like that. Those you're looking for more phosphorus that you want in the way of a fertilizer. Not that it's bad, but it could be used in better, obviously, unless you've got a rabbit farm, okay, you've only got a limited amount. So use it on the plants that are going to need the nitrogen the most, and use the other fertilizers that you have, plant specific. Okay. Holly H, what am I doing for Mrs. P for Mother's Day? Just talked about the enchiladas, so we got that. Craft Lady, can frozen thawed banana peels be used by DIY liquid fertilizer? Absolutely. Yeah, it's not like the phosphorus or the potassium is going anywhere. So yeah, you can freeze them, thaw them out. If you're going to make the liquid stuff, just run them through the blender, everything like that. They'll be fine. Judy Boer, big explosion in Ukraine a short while ago. I have not seen what's going on, so who knows? Let's just hope it's not a hypersonic missile. God forbid it being any sort of nuclear dirty bomb or anything like that. But I figure we'll know soon enough. Excuse me. Peggy Turkloose, are CDs safe or should I cash them? Well, the other day I did a video on banks, okay, and showed you a resource where you can go look at the stability of a bank. And even with CDs, I'm going to stick the same way. If it's rated 5 stars, you're fine. If it's 4, I'd be watchful. If it's rated 3 or less, I'd be gone. Okay. Uh, I'm just saying, all right, because even Janet Yellen came out when she was interviewed today. She cannot. When she was asked, "Are there going to be any more bank collapses?" and she would not answer the question. So, chances are that means yes. They know we're going to see more. Uh, be very vigilant about where you put your money. Uh, you know, like I said, look at the same things. If it's a bank and it's got 5 stars, I'd be okay with it. Okay. Uh, I hear all these people because CDs, and I've told you guys, I wouldn't go out any more than 9 months at this point, and you're getting right around 5% for a 9 month CD. Okay. And everybody goes, yeah, but inflation's 6.25, so you're guaranteed losing 1.25%. Yeah, but if I leave it in cash under the mattress, I'm guaranteed to lose 6.25%. So, and again, like I said, I'm not going to recommend anybody have $50,000 in cash laying around the house or something like that. Some people have enough money, they got to put it somewhere. Even if you've got gold and silver, how much gold and silver are you safe having in the house? You should have that, again, depending on you, put in different places. I mean, even to the point of, maybe I should bury some of it, X marks the spot or something like that, your little pirate treasure chest. Uh, you know, Piece of PVC, a couple end caps, and some PVC pipe glue works real good for that, just in case you want to know. But and back to your question, are CDs safe or should I cash them? Depends on the bank, but as of right now, as long as it's a 5-star bank, I'm very comfortable having money there. Uh, do 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 do. Let's see. Jim R. Quality over quantity for content, Mr. Pinball. Please keep doing what you're doing. Exactly. Okay. I mean, you guys know there's some days where it's very busy. I mean, 6 months ago we were having, a freak show Friday where it was like, oh my God, I felt like I was on YouTube every 2 hours because something crazy was happening. Lately, I mean, I'm not going to come on. I mean, nobody cares about half the stuff that's being reported in the news. And I mean, it's funny because you even see, even the news is recycling, whether it's Fox or MSNBC or whoever, Breitbart or anything like that, they're recycling old opinion articles. It's like, I read this article once before, 6 months ago. And you look at the byline up there and the date on it, it's, October 11th, 2022, but it's on the front page today. I'm like, okay, there's so little going on that you're regurgitating old articles. I mean, even YouTube's doing it. It's like a couple of you guys have come up and asked questions lately about a video I did 2 years ago when I couldn't get money out of an ATM machine, and 3 or 4 ATM machines. And you're like, did you have any success? I'm like, either you went through 2-year-old videos or YouTube's putting it up on your recommended list like it's new and it's not. So I try to value your time as well as value my own time. So how's the fish in a pond? We talked about that. Mark Brimmer, do I prune my fruit trees after I plant them? Yes, because you need to try to shape the tree as best you can. Okay. You want to have those branches, coming off your main branch. You want to have them at, as best you can do it, at about a 45-degree angle, because those will be your fruit-bearing branches. If they're too vertical or too horizontal, all they're going to do is produce leaves and no fruit. You're looking for those ones that are going to be around 45 degrees. So sometimes you've got to put a spacer in, you got to stake a tree. I mean, I've got one tree, one of my plum trees is starting to tip. I've got to stake it so I can get that firm vertical out of it. But yeah, if you have 2 branches running too close together in a tree, it shoots an offshoot branch like a sucker on a tomato or something like that. You need to get rid of those because you need to keep that airflow going through the tree as well. Otherwise, you're gonna start getting diseases in the tree. Mark Wright, how many gallons of spring water should I store for an SHTF scenario? It's just me and my cat. Okay, I will give you this, and you got to figure out what it's going to be. Water is the hardest thing to store because water takes up a lot of space. I don't give a damn what the uh, who is it? The Red Cross says or whatever it is. The average person uses 6 gallons of water a day. Okay, and that's not including bathing. That's drinking, cooking, washing your hands, flushing a toilet, doing whatever. You know, your cat. Okay, your cat needs what? A half liter a bottle of water a day to fill up her water dish. You're good, but you got to figure out how you're going to how much water you can feasibly store, but use 6 gallons a day without washing your butt as a baseline. Maybe some days that you use less. There may be, today I'm having spaghetti. I got to boil the noodles. I'm going to use more water. Tomorrow I'm having Dinty Moore beef stew. Now you're not going to use as much water. Uh, you know, that's on average. But figure that number is going to be how you want to do it. Okay. Mom Survival, thank you for the super chat. What's my opinion or advice on organizing a community prepping group? Well, I've made numerous videos on this, as we call a community prepping group, a MAG, a mutual assistance group. I am all for doing it. It's very important because the lone wolf, like I said, the only prep a lone wolf needs is a shovel because they can go dig a hole 6 feet under, crawl in, and that's it. They don't need it. Nobody's going to survive in an SHTF event on their own. I don't care what Hollywood tells you, it ain't happening. Okay. Forming a group, organizing a group is a lot easier on paper than it is in real life because it's not like you can walk into the local gun shop or grocery store and go, hey, anybody want to be in a prepper group? It doesn't work that way. Maybe you go a little bit on a Facebook or something, or I've mentioned freesteading many times on the channel, that you can find like-minded people there. But that's the hardest part, is finding like-minded people. And even when you do find somebody that is like-minded, they're not 100% like-minded. I got an email from one of y'all today who met somebody, I think it was at a gun store, and they decided, hey, we're going to talk together, sit down and go meet for lunch or whatever and talk. And they both agreed in, owning guns and owning gold and silver and, the whole 9 yards. And then the one guy's like, well, he doesn't believe the Holocaust ever happens and, ever happened, and that the world is being taken over by the Jews and everything like that. And the other guy's like, nope, sorry, we're getting into some white supremacist crap. I don't want anything to do with it. Okay. So, you got to go through a vetting period or vetting for anybody that you want to bring into your group. Of course, the best thing to start with is with the people that you know, but you're also giving up a little bit of your OPSEC, Operation Security, by talking to people, because you're basically coming out and saying, I'm a prepper, which tells everybody right off the get-go, gee, I got food and I got guns. I mean, amongst everything else you got, but they know that immediately. Absolutely do it, but you're going to have to be very stealthy about doing it. It's not easy and it's not fast. Okay. Back to where I was. Leo Miranda Castro, love it. Experience is what matters. Messing up is the best because you can learn. Yeah, exactly. I mean, and I still screw stuff up in the gardens, okay? And I mean, I've been gardening for years and I still screw stuff up, because I'm still learning Tennessee. I'm still learning what, is good in my soil, what's not good in my soil, what's good in one garden isn't good in another garden. I mean, the gardens are all basically made the same way, but the sun on my easternmost garden isn't the same as the sun on my southwestern garden. Yeah, southwestern. I'll figure out which direction I was going. So, you got to figure these. the time to find this out is not going to be when the balloon goes up. The time to figure it out now. You know what? Hey, that garden doesn't get as much sun. It's good for this, this, and this. This garden gets this much sun. It's better for that, that, and that. Or what, as we were talking about magnesium deficiencies in soil or anything, or calcium deficiencies. I mean, any of that sort of stuff. It's best to work on it now to get it to be, the just right porridge. So do that. Okay, remember the West, now go the other way. 762. There you go. Pinball, what's the best method for dealing with leaf miners? My rattlesnake beans are doing well, but the leaves are being ravaged by the worms. I have never had a problem with leaf miners. I don't quote me on this because I'm not going to be the best resource. I'd probably say that something like BT or neem oil are going to be your best choice. But I would absolutely recommend you go get a second opinion on that because I could be wrong. But BT and neem oil are usually two things that will get rid of 90% of the pests that you have in the garden. Oh God. Okay. Susan Lathrop. Okay, we already answered the rabbit poop chat garden, so you're good. Fastball 2611. Okay, let me get out the crystal ball. With Title 42 gone, what do you foresee for our country? Pain. I don't know, my best Mr. T voice. No. This is why I was talking about Cloward Pivot this morning, okay? Is because by bringing in all these illegals, these unskilled people, okay, who are going to be doing unskilled labor, maybe some of them know simple stuff, I mean, maybe some of them know construction or something like that, who knows, right? But, how many cab drivers do we need? How many people mowing lawns do we need? Maids or strawberry pickers or whatever. We don't need that many, okay? Certainly not 70,000 a day coming in to the country. But what that's going to do is destroy the economy. And that is exactly what the Biden administration is trying to do because that's what China wants them to do. And, they'll destroy the economy. Joe's getting paid off. I mean, that's all proven. That's not even speculation or conspiracy theory. That's now fact, okay, from what Congress has already found out. But I can't tell you exactly what's going to happen. The dollar's going to get weaker and weaker, and everything else is going to get more and more expensive. Like I talked about in the video this morning, the ultimate goal is to destroy our economy, make everything so expensive that the entire country is a government serf. That the only way we have a place to live is it's a government housing project. The only place we have food is if it's food stamps, it's government cheese or whatever it would be. This is it. They want a welfare state. And that they can control a welfare state. And that's what this is all about. The easiest way you got to remember this. The folks in Washington have all the money they need, okay? What they're more interested in is power and control. And the easiest way to maintain the control over all of us is to destroy our livelihood, which is given to us, how we have our livelihood is through currency. And if they destroy the currency, they destroy your livelihood. They're in control. They tell you what to do. Okay. Sorry, Mr. Pinball. I don't care that you're, nearing retirement age. We want you out there with the chainsaw every day cutting wood because we need to heat this apartment building and we're using wood heat, or whatever it would be. I don't care. You drop that out there because, you're, that we should have a 20-year-old do it. No, you do what we tell you to do. Okay, control, control, control. That's what it's all about. Prep Rebel, I have a small area for my garden. The challenge is heat. My deck hit 140 degrees Fahrenheit today. Question, do you use shade cloth of any kind? I don't, okay, but there's a good reason why I don't. You guys have seen my property. I have a good tree cover in my yard, okay? And so the entire yard gets dappled sun. Everything will still get 4 to 6 hours, but I don't have that beaming sun. Yes, in your case, if you're getting that, absolutely use shade cloth. If you want to look at the differences of it, go watch a couple of Deep South Homesteads videos on Danny and Wanda's high tunnels. They've got one that's got black shade cloth and one that's got white shade cloth. But I get a hold of whoever you're going to buy the shade cloth from and tell them exactly what you're saying. My deck gets to 140 degrees, and they may tell you you need to have 70% shade cloth or something like that. That you really need to knock it down. Uh, Not my forte, but yeah, if you're getting those kind of temperatures, I mean, peppers love heat, not that much. So yeah, definitely the shade cloth for you. It sounds like an absolute must. Uh, Finley the dog. How do you keep woodchucks out of the garden? I shoot it, but I have neighbors. Just don't shoot the neighbors. I don't. Again, not a problem I have. We don't have them here, so I can't really give you an answer. But and I think this will work for about any animal. Is if you, and I've explained it this way before, every animal, including human beings, takes the path of least resistance. Okay. You know, if there's if there's a can of beer on the other side of the table and on the other side of the room, and I want a beer, which one am I going for? Probably the one that's on the other side of the table. It's the path of least resistance. I'm not going to pass one to go to the other, right? Animals are the same way. If woodchucks like, I don't know, if they're eating up your turnips, for example, or whatever, find where the woodchucks are, throw some turnips over there or whatever it would be, plant a couple of turnips as a trash crop, okay? That's going to keep, so they'll stay out of your main crop. I've mentioned many times about like we don't have. I mean, I've got squirrels and chipmunks all over the place in my yard. You'd think they would ravish everything. I mean, I'm picking red strawberries out of my strawberry patch, which is right on the ground. It's not covered with anything. The birds aren't going after my strawberries at all. I don't have any of those little red rocks or anything like that. There's nothing out there. Why? Mrs. P's got bird feeders out there. Mrs. P's got squirrel feeders out there. They go where the food is. They don't have to get into my garden. I'm betting you could probably do the same with the woodchucks. But again, like I said, I've never had them. DR ordered my first set of bare root ever bearing strawberries. Tips, please. Get them in the ground, obviously. Cover the ground around them with wood chips. Okay, doesn't have to be anything expensive. Just go to the local municipal wood chip or whatever. Cover them all with wood chips, and use some. The one I use is Job's Berry Tone, and put some on there. Don't expect strawberries this year. You might get a couple, but don't expect them. But get them in the ground. Plant them about 3 feet apart, okay, depending on however many you got. Plant them in an X pattern, okay, 2, 1, 2, like that. And give them enough space to put out some runners. You saw what I did with my yesterday morning video. That was 5 plants last year. And you saw all the plants I got this year. By next year, that garden will be full of strawberries. Because as the runners grow this year, maybe some get off in the lawn, I dig them up, I put them back in the garden. A lot of them just rerooted in the garden there, and you're getting more plants. But the most important thing I can tell you to do is get wood chips around them, because you need to protect that soil, and keep the soil a little cooler and keep the moisture to them. Otherwise, strawberries do not do good when they dry out. Okay. Beautiful day, great video. Sutton's Days. Yeah, Lisa puts up some good stuff. I mean, I got to give her credit. Okay, how many videos do you think you can make on canning? And somehow Lisa's got hundreds, if not thousands, of videos. Okay, but she did make a really good video just the other day about mistakes that you can make in canning. And how literally could kill yourself. Okay, so. If you're going to do any canning this summer and you've got any questions, Lisa's channel, Sutton's Daze, Daze, is my go-to when I've got questions about what do I do. And Lisa's really good about answering questions too. Ed Kirkpatrick, thank you for the super chat for the Christmas fund. Yes, okay, appreciate that. Uh, Brandon, how much mixed homemade fertilizer, bone, calcium, potassium do you add per plant? If you asked me for the spreadsheet, I sent it to you. It depends on the plant. So on there, it'll tell you 3 tablespoons or whatever, however much that you want to put in there. Again, it depends. Peppers or eggplant or tomatoes, they need the ones that have the uh, eggshell in it. Potatoes don't. Okay. Corn doesn't need all that. Corn, you just want to give straight nitrogen. That's all it needs. Corn's a grass. Okay. So I can't, there isn't yep, you put one handful in for each plant and that's it. Every plant's different. They have different nutritional requirements. So, you got to go specifically by it. But on the spreadsheet that I had told you guys that I'll send anybody, it's on there which ones you need, what you need to use. Okay. Claudia Starr, do you take the eggshells out of the vinegar solution or leave them in? No, take them out because by the time you've got that done, it shouldn't smell like vinegar. It shouldn't taste like vinegar. You can taste it. It's fine. It's just vinegar and eggshell calcium anyway. Okay. Hopefully you rinsed off your eggshells or something before you put them in there like you're supposed to. Baked them and everything like that, like I showed you. But take the eggshells out because at this point the eggshells are inert. There's nothing to them. So strain it out. All the calcium has been released into the vinegar and is now made a calcium acetate. So it shouldn't taste like vinegar. It shouldn't taste like anything. Just run it through a sieve of some sort and you're good. John Fink, the Siberian early tomato seeds I got from you are doing great already. There you go. Good. And like I said, those Siberian earlies, those will give you early tomatoes, and they are basically your typical round tomatoes like you get in the grocery store, slicing tomatoes. They're not going to get huge or anything like that, but they are very tasty early round tomatoes, and they will produce for you all summer. Jan Rudd, Pinball, do you think the country and the world is too far gone for Trump to make a difference? No, but let's put it this way. It's going to look how fast Joe was able to screw anything up. Okay. And I use this as an example all the time. Take a plate, a dinner plate, drop it on the floor. How long does it take it to break in 1,000 pieces? Like that. How long does it take you to glue the whole plate back together? Hours. Okay. Same idea. Joe's destroyed the country in 2 years. It's going to take a lot more than 4 to put it back together. Okay. So it's going to take a lot more. Trump will be able to get started, but the key is in order to undo all the damage that Biden's done, we need probably a GOP president till 2040, at least. And then maybe if we're lucky, we'll have returned the country back to what it was 2 years ago, where at least people could afford a place to live and afford to eat. It ain't going to be easy. Let's put it that way. I mean, I've already come to the foregone conclusion that the rest of my life is going to be a struggle for everybody in the world, including me. So there ain't going to be no more. Yeah, this is that nice easy time where everything is peaceful and things are good. I've already resolved that those days are all behind me. Dale from Ohio, after cleaning my fish, what can be done with the leftovers? Oh, a whole bunch of stuff. If you're planting right now, throw all the leftovers in a hole right under your tomato. That's awesome. Okay, or your peppers or whatever it is. Fish under your plants is about the best fertilizer your starter fertilizer that you can do. If you've got everything planted, get yourself a 40-gallon barrel or plastic bin or something like that. throw the fish in there, throw some plant waste in there. I don't care if it's weeds or whatever it would be, and then fill the whole thing with water and let it sit for a couple of weeks. You just made the greatest liquid fertilizer. You could speed that process up by grinding up the fish bones, the fish heads, the fish guts, or whatever in a blender and pouring it in, something like that. Uh, I mean, fish is one of the best fertilizers that you can use for your gardens. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's vegetables, fruit trees, evergreens, flowers, whatever it is. I mean, if you've got fish guts, use them somewhere. Don't throw them out. That's throwing away. That's throwing away great fertilizer, which is literally throwing away money. If you've seen what fertilizer costs lately. Uh, Dr. Data, where are the migrants going to go and do? Well, apparently they can't go to sanctuary cities because sanctuary cities are a lie. Okay. Chicago doesn't want them. You know, if you saw this, 97% of the people in the south side of Chicago voted for Joe Biden, right? But except a bunch of them just sued the city of Chicago because the city of Chicago wants to use a high school to house these illegal immigrants. I won't call them migrants, these illegal aliens over the summer. Can you imagine having to be the cleanup crew before school starts in the fall? And you got to clean up after 500 illegals that were in that high school, you know, that have already shown they'll just pee in the hallway, you know, having tequila parties. I mean, look at all the stories we hear out of the hotels in New York, how there's trash in hotels. Yeah, no. So the citizens in 97% Joe Biden country are suing the city that they don't want the illegals there. Okay. And like New York shipping them up to upstate New York, where they're kicking out they're kicking out Vietnam vets out of hotels, you know, homeless vets out of hotels so they can house immigrants. You know, as I put it on Twitter feed today, I said, you know, funny. I said, guys that went and risked their lives and came back to get spit on are getting kicked out of hotels so we can have people that are risking our lives and spitting on us, and we're paying for it. Okay, yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense. Wilderness woman, from what I heard, they cannot get work authorization until their hearing. All on us, of course, but if they can't get work authorization, doesn't mean they're not going to work illegally. Gee, I don't know. You know, all those farm jobs, gardening jobs, strawberry picking jobs, drug dealing, robbery. Yeah, you know, working for the cartels. Hey, that all pays. Okay. Oh yeah, and then we get our free phone, our free car, our free apartment, our food stamps, our welfare checks. Yeah. Okay. They're not coming here to work. They're coming here to take our dollars any way they can get them and send them back to whatever other country they came from. Okay, which further hurts our economy because there's less dollars in circulation in it. Kentucky Empire, have you used mushroom compost before? And if so, how do I like it? Mushroom compost is great stuff. I've got some in one of our flower gardens that I put in the first year we were here, and I put in a whole trailer load of mushroom compost into my gardens this year, and you guys saw the gardens are doing wonderfully. So mushroom compost is great stuff. The hard part is finding it at a decent price. K Island, thank you for your video on Cloud Pivot Playbook. Confirm suspicions. You're most welcome. Okay. RP Smith spent the whole day canning. I'm beat. Well, either you are way down south or you were probably canning a whole lot of meat. Because I was going to say, most of us, we're just getting plants in the ground, certainly not harvesting yet, unless you're way south, you know. I mean, deep south, or, you know, southern Florida, southern Texas, or something like that. You guys are probably already getting harvests and stuff. Up here, no, I mean, I'm still a month away from harvesting peas. I mean, the only reason I'm going to get cabbage early is because I planted them in January. So, Ken Harrison, if I've been to Antarctica, does that count? There we go. If you've been to Antarctica, Congratulations. That's cool. Uh, Fat Daddy's outdoor cooking. Do I use sulfur on any crops? I don't have any need to here. My pH on my soil is about 6.7, so I don't need to use anything to acidify or alkalinize my soils at all. So, no, I don't. Uh, ooh, sorry. Homestead Heart is, Julie Peak says, Homestead Heart is also very good for beginning canning. Yes, she is. Very good. Another good channel. If I remember correctly, I've watched her a couple of times. If I'm not mistaken, she's out of Memphis, correct? So, uh, but yeah. And again, you got to watch who's cooking this, or who's canning what you want. I mean, and if I'm remembering correctly, Homestead Heart's in Memphis, okay, and Lisa at Sutton's Days, she's up in Michigan. Up in Michigan, you're probably not eating a whole lot of okra, okay. In Memphis, you probably are black-eyed peas or something like this, So you got to find, just like anything else, the people that can show you what's going to fit best for you. I mean, again, watching somebody, I'll use this example again. Here's how to grow orange trees in southern Florida. And you go, but I live in Kansas. Why even bother? Because you ain't growing orange trees. So, and you guys ask me all the time, where's a good place to get seeds? And I say, depends on where you live. You got M.I. Gardner up north. You got Haas Tools out south. You got Baker Creek in the in the plains area, because the seeds have been acclimated to those particular climates. So it's no different with learning other things. Learn people that do it in your particular area, because how I do something in Tennessee rocky soil, even though I got my raised beds, ain't going to work the same if you were working in sandy soil in New Mexico. You got to figure out what works for you. Burnt Church, hey friend, do you trim your onions the entire growing season? No, you really should just need to trim them one time, take it down to about 6 inches, and then it'll grow again, because by the time they've grown that second time, that's when they're going to start bulbing. Now, if you start them from seed, you're going to need to trim your onions while they're still in their little seed trays and stuff like that, because when you got one little stick, it's going to flop over. So yeah, but once you put them in the ground, especially if you're using sets, like I get mine from Dixondale, one trim is enough. Holy crap, it's 9:57. Fat Daddy's outdoor cooking. What do I think about new electric culture? I'm assuming you're talking about electro culture, and that's certainly not new. That's hundreds of years old. I'm going to be doing a video on that sometime later next week, because in watching everything that Danny and Wanda have done, I'm going to give this a shot. So I'll kind of explain all that in the video, but we're a sneak preview on it. If it works, great. If it doesn't, I'm out $13. Okay, so I'm gonna give it a shot, but I'll show you what I'm gonna do this week. Show you a couple of different tricks on some things this week. Amish at Heart says, "Have a great Mother's Day, Mrs. P, and everyone else." And again, I will say that that goes for everybody. Let's see. Linda Bopp, couldn't say that better myself. Thank you to our moderators for all the hard work you've done here for us. I mean, you guys got to remember, the moderators on this channel have been here. Channel's almost 3 years old, and most of them have been here since damn near the beginning. I mean, that says a lot. That every Tuesday and every Saturday, they are taking time out of their lives to come make sure that we all have a safe place. And so to that, moderators, again, I will say from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much. You honor me by your presence. Fastball 2611, Pinball, late question. What will it take for America to do 1776, if ever? A Justice Department that doesn't prosecute the innocent and let the guilty go free. That's the problem. That's why nothing happens. You know, you look at I mean, like I was talking to other people here. You look at this Texas or New York subway thing, okay? You got a guy who's got 40 felonies threatening people on a train. So an ex-Marine goes in and solves the problem. They don't congratulate him, they charge him with manslaughter. They weren't worried about the guy with 40 felonies harassing people and threatening people on the train. That was fine. The guy that put a stop to it, he's the one that goes to jail, right? You look at the guy down in Texas, the army guy who's driving for Uber. Somebody points an AK-47 at him. He pulls out his pistol, shoots back. They don't go after the guy that pointed the AK-47, running around that and pointing at people. No, they arrest and convict the guy who defended his own life. This is the problem. The justice system is persecuting by prosecuting the victims, and they are letting the criminals go free. We won't see a 1776 until we get prosecutors in that put their foot down and say, hell no, you got 40 years, 40 felonies in your record, you ain't ever seeing the light of day again. Okay. All right, and that will be the last question on that, because it is 10:01. So, all right, guys, y'all have a good evening. Have a good Mother's Day tomorrow. I will be here, but in case you are going to grandma's house or anything like that, or the kids are coming over to your house, enjoy your day. Thanks, Mom. Have a good one, y'all. Pinball out.